Your wisdom.
Well, hi everybody. It's good to see you all. My name is Jeff Clair. My company, Clairvoyant Consulting, is part of a larger organization called Sales Acceleration. And what I am is a sales advisor, and I help companies, generally in the small, medium-sized market, build a pathway to greater profitable sales. In a nutshell, that's what I do, and I do it in a number of different facets. Getting as deeply embedded as becoming a fractional outsourced VP of sales or chief revenue officer or whatever the title terminology of the day will be. I'm based on the East Coast in Fairfield, Connecticut. To make your lives easy as well, in the chat, I put my connection information. So if you ever want to get in touch with me, just make sure you save that and you'll have that there to use. All right. I've got a pretty big presentation. I'm going to try to wrap it down in the time frame we've got. So let me go in and I'm going to go share my screen so you can see this. And let's go to. All right, everybody see that? Great. So what we're going to talk about today is accelerating growth through a trusted referral partner network. Um, a raise of hands, or if you want to put a Y, well, actually, I can't see the chat, so we'll do it. Are most of you familiar with what a trusted referral partner even is? And do you utilize those today? I'll assume I'm getting some yeses because I think you're all on mute on this. So, and any questions that come up, please put them in the chat, and we will absolutely get to those. So today, this is what our agenda is going to be. We're going to go through how do you define your target customer? How do you define an ideal referral partner? And we're going to also use the moniker of an IRP for that, that supports your ideal client profile, developing an outreach strategy, what a meeting cadence would look like, and really look at building long-term relationships within that. So the whole point of this is this is not a one-way street. So we're going to really work on what does it take to have a win-win referral partnership relationship. It's not just getting, but how can you give as well, and how does that work? So we'll go through that. Okay, so step one is defining your target customer so you can share critical information with your referral partners so they know what they need to do to help you and what you can do with that. So like in any case, people really want to help, but they need to be given guiding posts and ways to do so. And we're going to work on what that will be. So within that, there we are. Your ideal customer profile is really nothing more than a detailed description of the type of client who is a strong fit for the business you have of products or services. And we're going to start with the industry and then the vertical and specialty. And what that really is really a subset of a larger industry. So, for example, if an ideal client profile for me is in manufacturing, a subset of that or a vertical and specialty would be automotive. Targeted organizations within that is extremely helpful to have to share as well. If you have a revenue component within that, it's important. Um, some of you may have enterprise size companies that you're going after, and others have small businesses. You need to really take a look at that. And some really want to focus on startups or early stage companies, and others are looking for more mature businesses. And then obviously location. Where would your customers be located? Are you geographically limited? Are you limited by the United States, for example, or are you global? And a simple tool to use with this is if you've got a CRM tool, that's great. You can use that. I have one myself, but I also use an Excel spreadsheet to lay some of the information on that I need. Now, within your customer profiles, the next stage is there's specific people that you talk to. And within that is your buyer persona or personas. These are people in the companies that you want to talk with that have the need for your services and have the authority to actually buy it. And so, what are those titles? What are those responsibilities? And really, what's critically important is what are the pain points that they have? Now, since we have limited time, I don't have the time to have you build out your own ideal customer profiles and your buyer personas, but I'll show you here what a typical one of mine is sort of like to give you an idea of what this looks like. So I've laid out four different ideal customer profiles and what the buyer personas would be within them. So my industries are technology, manufacturing, professional services, and construction. So if I go down from technology, a vertical that I work in is managed service providers within the technology field. And their revenue range is generally that's focused for me is $3 to $50 million. And I'd like them to be in business for at least 5 years, so I'm not really dealing with a true startup. In this vertical of mine, my clients are national in scope. And the people I want to talk to here that make the decisions to hire me would be a founder, a CEO. And if they're running on EOS, they may be considered a visionary. And if you're not familiar with EOS, it's the entrepreneurial operating system. And their responsibility in most of my cases, in almost every one of my verticals, their responsibilities are total company. And in this case, in this technology field, the pain point is critically developing new businesses or what I'll call new logo growth. And you can see I did it for manufacturing, professional services, and construction. I laid this out as well. There's certainly more pain points that I laid out, but I wanted to list just show what this would look like. So, in manufacturing, for example, working with original equipment manufacturers, one of the critical pain points is if a company's been in existence for a period of time, they're now getting into the mode where they may be unbalanced and have a high risk of too much of their business tied up with too few customers. So they're in a risky position. So think about and start looking and defining what are, your ideal customers. What are the buyer personas that would be in there? In developing your buyer personas even deeper, you can really think about how do they like to be communicated, the position they're in, the type of person you're looking to talk with, what are they all about? And there's a lot of tools to help work with this as well. So once you've got your customer matrix laid out, the next thing is how do you define your ideal referral partners? All right, so your network is an interesting way. You're going to be looking to get involved with people that really work within other industries that work with your client, your ideal customer profile. So for me, and if you take a look at it, these are a number of different areas that work within my focus, which is small, medium-sized business, from operations to human resources to leadership and business coaches, marketing, legal, information system. It's important to take a look at it. One of the things that I do is I like to have a balanced group of ideal referral partners that can help me in my business, but just as importantly, I love to give value to my clients. And I'd like to be able to help them in the different facets of their business that is outside of my area of expertise. So if I find that they are, dealing, for example, with a bookkeeper, but they're needing to have a higher level of financial strategic planning, I like to have a referral partner program that has fractional CFOs, or if they need a full-time one, who a full-time CFO might be. And the same thing in all these buckets that are here. And hopefully this makes sense to you on this. The other part of it is these partners, where do you find them and who might be? So in my case, within the different programs, I mentioned EOS to you before, there are other business operating systems, Pinnacle, System and Soul, Bloom Growth, for example. There's a number of fractional CFO companies and a number of marketing partners. Now, some of these are larger ones. There may be single shingle people that you're meeting with as well that are not part of a larger organization. But what's important is that consider companies that are selling similar products or services that meet with the same buyer persona. And if you're working and you're thinking about your business in a little different way and you want to develop this, this is where channel partnerships come into play as well. All right, so now we're getting okay, how much work do you need to be? What does it look like in terms of size and scope? And how many meetings is it going to take? It can be individual depending on your business, but you're going to need to develop a list of roughly 200 contacts. You're going to be securing meetings. And very much like as I work with sales companies, there's a sales funnel and an understanding of conversion rates. How many people do I initially need to meet with to determine who might be a strong referral partner? How many will actually want to take a meeting with me? And then what do I want to have like my core group of what I'll call A-level referral partners that understand me well, that are positioned in a strong way that both I can help them and they can help me. So again, a CRM tool can be beautifully helpful here, but it can be done in Excel and Google Sheets, other methods as well. So I mentioned A, B, and C, and this is one of the important parts of it. Not everyone you meet, even if they are refined and within your industry and your scope, are going to be great fits for you. So I develop kind of an ABC kind of methodology. Those that are really have a strong book of business, so to speak, are well aligned with me. And after a number of meetings, I get the sense that we're going to be able to work well together. They're going to be my A level, and I'm going to meet with them often. My B level, they're still going to be helpful and important, but I'm not going to meet with them as often. And I may schedule them out on a once a month basis. And then there are those that may help on an infrequent basis. They may not be as giving as you'd like to find, and you'll put them on a newsletter. You'll reach out to them on a quarterly basis or biannual, just kind of stay in touch. But they will be less often. And you'll notice the return time on when you're going to get back to them on something will be much more urgent for your A than your B and C. But I would strongly suggest, look, if you said you're going to do something, get it done. It's really important and helpful. All right. So, how do you determine your key partners? You want one that has deep relationships and can credibly refer you in, meaning they understand you and they can communicate your unique value proposition succinctly. You want partners who have contacts who are connected to key decision makers or the people that you tend to work with getting into companies. So I mentioned, before, CFO is also strong for me. They have a viewpoint where there is an issue with the sales and revenue, they can refer me in. You want them to have a sufficient scope and scale as well. And you're going to spend time, asking deep questions about their client relationships to understand the strength of their relationships. And you want to understand if, are these new clients for them? Have they had them for a long time? Are they a past client? You want to start building up trust. And trust really becomes important on a two-way street. And once you've gone from meeting with a number of people, you're going to start really looking at kind of a matrix like we're looking at here. In the top left, you have high trust clients and high volume of contacts. These will be ones in your A level. In the top right quadrant, they may not have a high volume, but there's a high trust of the clients that they have. Then in the bottom segment, they may have high volume, which is great. You want that, but maybe not the greatest level of trust with clients. So they may be in a B level. And in the bottom right-hand quadrant, quite frankly, these are people you've met with, you probably are not going to want to go forward with. They don't have a lot of contacts and they don't have a lot of trust. So put them on a newsletter, keep them informed, but you're not going to spend a huge amount of time. All right, so what does an outreach strategy look like? And there's a number of different ways. I've got a couple of simplified methodologies here to start with. Okay, so there's two ways you're going to go. You've got an email and you're going to go through LinkedIn. But think about in-person events as well. I have one coming up later today, as a matter of fact, an in-person network event. But if you're doing it from a so-called virtual way, you've got email and you've got LinkedIn, and you want to set up connections. And we're going to talk about a landing page. that will help with either getting a meeting request or a request for more information. And obviously, you want to have that meeting, either in a virtual position or if you're local, getting together face to face. Nothing ever beats that. You want to make it a very simple message. You don't want to add a lot to it. And remember, you're not in a selling mode here. You're focusing on connecting to build your network. Like I mentioned, the goal is to have them accept a meeting or asking for more information of what you do. Have a dedicated landing page that shares what you do for your referral partner, and then they can share that with their client. I have a link and I'll share that with you. And I also have a soft copy I would follow up with as well. So they understand what you do. They can explain it clearly. They get that aha. I clearly understand where you're at. And you can do the same thing with LinkedIn. But again, LinkedIn is not a selling platform, it's a social media platform to develop relationships. So initially on, you just really are looking to connect before you move on. And again, you can, if you feel it appropriate early on in that request to connect, put a landing page in so they understand what you do, or you connect first and then, hey, love to get together. By the way, this is what I do. Now, here are some simple messaging. And again, you can keep it very simple. Hi, in my case, I work with many business owners, helping them with sales and sales leadership. I often see gaps outside of sales that are not my expertise. I need a resource I can rely on to introduce to my clients when needed. And I give my name. Or, hi, I see we're both located in whatever business or geographic area. I notice our backgrounds are aligned. I'd like to connect and learn more about what you do. So you're keeping it very simple. You're not going into, gee, I'd love to sell you something, because that's not the place for that. And let's talk about this landing page of what you should have in this. This is not your website. This is not the product or services you sell. It's more general, and it's really made to help assist your referral partners. So within that, you can have mine. I'll show you is 2 pages, referral partners, prospective customers, and include a meeting link, because look, let's make life easy for everyone so you can quickly get online with a meeting scenario. So this is what mine looks like if you could see it clearly. The left side is really the landing page. The other one backs it up. I quickly talk about sales instability as a growth risk, so they already understand it's all about sales. Um, why would somebody want to meet with me? Revenue is inconsistent or unpredictable. Sales depends heavily on one person, or a sales team doesn't exist. There's no clear, repeatable sales process. I give them signals to listen for, in my case, revolving around strategy, infrastructure, management, and the team, how I help without disrupting the business, because again, I'm a fractional. And then here's what's important. What's a good referral fit? Okay, so I put the revenue range in mind. What are some of the points that are taking place with these businesses? And then, very important, how I work together with referral partners. Here's the contact point. And again, you'll see I have a schedule to call. So again, I make it really easy. And after we do get done meeting, here's a little productivity hack. Develop an email template. So this is after I've met with them, I've talked with them. I have a template that gets pulled up immediately. I put in what I learned from the conversation, what action items I have committed to, what action items they've committed to, and the rest of it really builds itself out. And importantly, I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for a referral partner to introduce me. So I do a quick paragraph. What's a really simple way to work with me? Now, Mac computers work differently than Windows based, but again, there's methodologies for having email templates in both. Consider utilizing that, because it could be really helpful. And then look, you want to stay on top of mind. Send a monthly newsletter, post on social media, which in our world is generally LinkedIn 1, Instagram, Facebook 2 or 3, depending on which direction it goes. Some things could be sent in a general methodology. Some can be much more personal. If you've gotten business from a referral partner, consider a gift, some way to, a dinner for themselves, some way you're thanking them for the business you've had, but constantly keep in touch with your A level more than anything else. And again, you want to be giving first if you at all can, because people feel very beholden to that. So, look, we're kind of running out of time. I'm going to quickly go through this. An ideal referral partner, how to run the meeting. Try to have them talk first. Let them talk as long as they want to about the business, because the longer they talk, the more they're going to feel, God, I really need to understand what this person's all about. And they're going to flip the switch, and then it's in your court. Listen. How can you provide value to them? Refine your elevator pitch, which is really your value add story. Understand and really communicate to them the why you do what you do. It's really a powerful means of remembrance on their part. And then continually give them value added. It could be articles, it could be links to your website and company, ways that you can help them in their business. And here's just a quick thing on an elevator pitch, very short, as you heard. And I very quickly, in a couple of minutes at most, told you what I did and who my target audience is. Serve first. It may take a few meetings for you to really understand who your high value referral partners are going to be. And then finally, I have the screen here. Think about insights you've learned today. What did you take away from our conversation, or what I've told you? And what would your next steps be? And then start working on the process and the next steps. Develop and refine your ICPs, develop and refine your target ideal referral partners, plot your top referral partners, create personalized outreach, and really serve first and stay top of mind with these people. If you guys have any further questions, I put my contact information into the chat, but here's how you can reach me for further conversations. So
Thanks,
I
Jeff.
would now love to open this up and ask questions.
Yeah,
And
if someone's got a question, you can come off mute or you can put it in the chat. I've got a question kind of out of the gate. It
sure.
seems like this process and what you've shared today is best suited for someone or a business that you've already identified your ICP. You need to identify the ICP before you can go out and identify your ideal referral partners, right? I mean, that was the step one.
Yeah, that's really important. Obviously, you need to know what you're doing first and foremost. Correct.
Else, what are the referral partners even referring into if you don't know? So
Exactly.
don't burn the bridges with a potential referral partner before you've kind of nailed what you're selling and who you're selling it to.
It's really helpful because they're going to walk away confused as well. People love to help as long as you're trying to show them a roadmap. And the better roadmap you have, the better path forward, the better they can really help you.
Yeah. Hallie had a question about platforms. Hallie, are you talking like CRM or what are you getting at with platform or databases and platforms?
Thank you. S- People used to use Access with Word or similar Microsoft, but especially because there's so many of us who transition or switch between um, PCs and Apple-based or Android products. I'm
Mhm.
just wondering, which ones do you find most effective and useful for mapping and tracking your sources, your follow-ups, the personal and the details about the kids and the assistants' names and
Uh,
contacts, things like that? And how do you find it most effective to use that material for your work following?
Great question. So first and foremost, the very best tool is to find a CRM system, a customer relationship management software platform to put all that information in. That's the best because it's going to be there and you can filter and you can source. But quite frankly, Excel in and of itself, or Google Sheets, is very much like a modified CRM system. Just lay the columns in for the information that you want to have so you can sort. So, for example, you might want to put what industry or profession they have. So, if you want to find someone who is in the HR field, you can sort in that direction. In today's day and age, whether you are PC or Apple based, everything kind of communicates. If you use Google and you love it, great. If you're on a PC or Mac, it's no problem really accessing that information. There's quite a number of CRM systems out there, but understand what your needs are and how robust a system for your business you need before you invest in it. Example, Salesforce is the one CRM system everybody knows, but it's a very robust, very expensive system. And if you have a small business, that just may not be right for you. And there's others like HubSpot or Pipedrive that may be better fits.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Hallie. Paul asked, he said he's recently kicked off a partner program and had a question about engagement and staying top of mind.
So, Paul, you want to elaborate a little more on that?
Yep, if I can get myself off mute, that is.
Hi, Paul.
Yeah, so basically, I kicked it off about a month and a half ago. Actually, I've got a couple of your sales acceleration colleagues as partners.
Oh,
So
good.
yeah, that jumped out at me when I saw that you were part of that group. But yeah, I want to walk the fine line of keeping the partners engaged so that we can like they can point people towards me and stuff like that. I've already kind of walked through like what the ICP would be, different things I
Hmm.
got there, where the benefits would be, and who would benefit from it. And I don't want them doing any work, because then nobody will do it. So I want to make it super
Right.
simple. They literally point it towards me. If they sign, they get paid. But it's about uh, without walking the fine line of being annoying and being yet another email in their inbox type of
Hmm.
thing. I want to really try and add value constantly. Obviously, like we're deep in dev all the time and changing things and making amendments
Hmm.
and that type of thing. So we've got that type of stuff, which is cool, but then we mightn't have anything for a month.
Sure.
And I don't want a month to completely go by without, a kind of little check in to see how things were going for them. And
Well, and Paul, great question because you're right. You don't want to waste and take up a lot of their time, but you want to be top of mind where you can. So some of the aspects are consider a varied approach. If they are active on LinkedIn and they post, comment,
mhm.
share some information with them. You might have seen an article that may be within their field. Like I use Inc. magazine a lot, and I will share those articles. Um, I'm saying, hey, here's an article I thought you might get some value out of. How are you doing? Simple ways. And then others I'll call and ask them, hey, we haven't talked in a while. Love to catch up. You have time for coffee. Keep it friendly, conversational, because that's really what it is. And kind of take that.
Yep. Yep. Cool. Thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome. Barry, got two fingers up.
Yeah, now I got all five up.
All right.
I realized that this presentation was targeting referral partners.
Yes.
That's not what I'm most interested in, but my question
So let
is
me ask this way. What are you most interested in?
connecting with leaders that want my services. When I
Well,
go
that
through
right.
referrals, nobody can explain me like I can, and so it ends up going sideways. So I've tried that multiple times. That's not my interest.
Well,
My
here,
question
think about
is,
it this way. Think about it this way, that you want to get to those business leaders that want your services. And going direct is great, but you may not know them. And in today's day and age, cold outreach is a really tough and lonely path to walk.
oh, granted, yes, but I've
And
got tens
right,
of thousands of connections, so it's not totally cold.
right. So
But
for
my
you, for
question to
example,
you is,
yeah.
the landing page. Everything that I'm involved with and that I'm learning from colleagues is keep it as simple as possible. So for them to go to a landing page rather than directly to the website, that's where I wanted to understand more why that extra step.
So a website in many cases is set out is like a business page that's meant for potentially the general public to like buy your product or services. This landing page is more for that referral partner to understand you directly, the type of clients that you're looking for. That's the key part of it. You're right. Like you did a great job when you and I met in the room. I understand your why, which is powerful. You start talking about your why and what you do with referral partners, they will, as you get to know them better, say, "Hey, here's somebody I recommend that you talk with." Now, just using their name may be the inroad in, or you say, "Look, I'd love to. Would you mind writing would you mind introducing me personally?" It's just a warmer way to do it. Because yes, in the end of the day, we all want that decision maker. We're trying to find a warmer way to get to them.
Okay.
Let's so we got time for one more question. Phil said, wondering if you can spend a minute on referral fees. How should I think about compensation for successful referrals, size and structure? That's a good question.
So there's a few ways. In some cases, there is no referral fee. It's reciprocal. We're going to be referral partners together because I'm going to also be referring business to you as well as you're referring business to me. In other cases, you may, in some industries, it could be 10% of the deal. It could be 25%. It could be time slotted that's only for the first period of time that's going to be. It really depends on what you're looking to do and how it's going to work itself out. And and some people may ask the question, is there a referral fee you have for the work, for getting referred in? And look, I work with many companies that way as well. If I'm bringing in someone to a client, it's already known up front to do so it's going to be X cost. And in other cases, I'm not going down that road because for me, it's far more financially lucrative if they just refer a client to me that I have for a much longer period of time.
Hmm. Makes sense. Oh, I said that was the last question, but I want to hear your answer to Dave's question too. How do you how do you judge success? What are some benchmarks that you use for a successful program?
Oh, Dave, good question. So it's in some cases it can be a long-term view when it's going to be is the person you're meeting in time. For me, the first point I look at, am I giving them value? Am I able to help them with what they're doing? If I'm able to refer them and get them business, connect them with somebody else, I feel great. That in and of itself, in my mind, is success. The second part is, do I have a referral network that thinks of me and brings me in when it's an appropriate time? And look, I changed my ABC D structure, or I really use red, I use red, yellow, green, changes over time. Like I've just recently redone it, and I would say 80% of those that were high value a few years ago are not in that same position today. So, it's not a cast, it's not here are the people that are going to be your top referral partners till the end of time. That will change.
Awesome. Very good. Can you put up that last slide again, just with your contact info and
Sure. And it's
give
in the
people,
chat as well.
give people a chance just to see that
So let
before
me
we sign
share
off?
that. There you go.
Awesome. Very good. Well, thanks, Jeff, for coming on and sharing. And if people want to get connected with Jeff, you can do so offline. And we'll see you all next week, same time for Midday Connect.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. So long.